But I keep being tuned, caught up by all my demons, lost without the love. And I'm a slave.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of On the Line Life Stories, where I speak to incredible individuals who are related to Aston Villa in some manner about their life stories. And today, I'm joined by one of arguably the biggest stars within the AVFC fan media scene. He has, to date, at the time of recording, he has over 37,000 subscribers, as well as millions upon millions of views on his channel. And here he is today on the line to talk to me about his life story. Max Stokes, aka Villa on Tour, how are you?
I'm really good, mate. Really kind words that you said there. Means a lot, mate. I'm honoured to be on the channel. Thanks a lot for having me.
It's all right. And firstly, because it's a special occasion, of course, I have got the new AVFC goalkeeping shirt. Now, I know you've done a video with Sean Jones, I believe, aka 1 to 11 kits. I'll make sure I leave a link to that in the description. Just in brief, though, what are your thoughts on the shirts this year?
Obviously, we haven't seen the away and third shirt. It's been, how long has it been since we saw the home shirt? It's been weeks, hasn't it? So they're leaving it a long time. They always leave it late, don't they, Villa, when it comes to shirts? But no, I like the home one. I think it's definitely better than last season's one. I thought it was a little bit plain last year's, but this year, obviously, they've got the pinstripes going down. The blue goes right up to the neck. So I kind of like that. There's a little bit more going on. The sponsor's a little bit more discreet rather than the massive gold W. So it's definitely better than last year's. You've got the goalkeeper one on there. I like that. It's not too bad with the dots going on. It's interesting. So no, they're definitely better than last year. I'm just excited to see the away and third shirt.
So before we dig deep into your life story, now at the time of recording again, Villa haven't signed anyone. Who do you think will sign? Where do you think we'll finish? How do you think we'll do next season? Just your early predictions.
Ooh. Yeah, it's a tough one without anyone, signing anyone. I don't think any clubs have made any big deals. I know Brighton and I think Man City have made a couple of names, but in the Premier League as a whole, no one's really made any big deals. I think once, the first signing will go over the line, it will create like a domino effect, as it always does with transfers. So I think Ollie Watkins will get over the line. I don't know anything. I'm not in the know or anything like that. I'm not even going to pretend that I'm in the know because I've had far too much of that on social media and stuff like that. But I think Ollie Watkins will be a great signing because he's quite versatile. We can play up front on the wings, and I think that's definitely where we need to strengthen in the attacking areas, because I think since lockdown defensively we've been good. So I just think going forward, we need to try and score more goals. I think definitely a striker and a winger is what we're looking at. But no, just in general, I think as long as we progress, we came 17th last year, which a lot of people would have taken. At the end of the day, we survived in the Premier League, which was massive. So if we can progress, a lot of people are saying, let's head towards mid-table. Me personally, I think we're looking at 15th-ish. That'll be my early prediction. Again, that'll probably change when I know what signings we've made. But no, I think, 14th, 15th with a decent cup run isn't the end of the world, and then we can just progress from there. But it's exciting times. Like you said, the players are back in training today. A few pictures came out earlier. So it's exciting times, mate.
Yeah, and you can see there the passion that you have for Aston Villa when you talk about the players, you talk about the club in general. And you've done a lot of that. I've seen lots of interviews throughout this lockdown period when you've been talking to creators about in brief, about your own journey, as well as Aston Villa as a club. But let's designate today's episode about your life story. And I would like to start like this. So throughout your early years, how influential was football, the organisation, the sport that you're heavily involved in now with your vlogging, your channel, and linking up with all other organisations related to football? How influential was football as a child for you?
Do you know what? It's kind of weird because I don't think a lot of people would expect what I'm about to say, but I wasn't really into football when I was like properly young. I think I started getting into it when I think my first game was in 2011, so I was 10 at the time, and it was Villa versus Wigan, and I wasn't massively into football at that point. I went to a school where, there wasn't many people there. I think there was like 6 boys in my year or something like that, or maybe 6 or 7, which was quite weird. So I think a few of them were into football, supported the likes of Man United and stuff like that, which didn't really interest me. Exactly, yeah. Well, it wasn't really for me. But, we played football at lunchtime and stuff like that, but it just didn't really appeal to me, and that was really weird. But I sort of got to like secondary school and you're sort of the age of 10, 11, 12. That was where I started like fully getting into it. I went to more Villa games. I wasn't one of these that, my dad was fully into football and he got me a season ticket at a young age. And I went to every game. So I went to the odd game, like when I was 10, 11, maybe 3 a season, something like that. But then, I sort of became older and became more independent. And it was at that point where I could sort of go by myself. And then I fully started going to the away games as well. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. Like, it was a late age that I started getting into football. I think maybe that's down to maybe my family aren't massively into football. Like, I'm the only like football mad person like in my family, which is a little bit strange. But then obviously meeting mates that I went to like secondary school with that were into football, Villa fans as well, which obviously helped. So yeah, a bit of a strange one. I got into football quite late, but yeah, there you go.
So throughout the years in which you were interested in football, did your parents ever try to participate in other activities?
A little bit. You know, I was into football, like I said, at 10, 11, 12, and they just took me to the odd game. But I did cycling as well, which was a bit of a funny one because I think my dad's very keen on cycling.
Yeah.
So I don't know how old, like even when I was 4 or 5, I went to a cycling club and things like that. So yeah, I enjoyed that. But I think that's like a transition between cycling and football. Maybe my dad wasn't massively keen on that, but no, it was a good one. I enjoyed cycling, but then I sort of grew out of it and grew into football. So yeah, I did a few activities. I joined a football club as well. I'm not the best at football. If you've seen the recreating Villa goals and stuff on the channel, you know that none of us are the best at football. But no, I enjoyed playing it. It wasn't to the best standard anyway. It was just a laugh with my mates. So.
Yeah,
I'm not awful. I can kick a ball, but it's not great.
I mean, was it Richard Griffiths that megged you in that Villa View game?
Why have you got to bring that up? Why have you got to bring that up? No, the rematch is coming. The rematch is coming. Keep your eyes peeled. It's coming.
Dan, if you want, I'm here. Okay, I can happily play. All right, I'm just put my name out here.
No.
Oh, I'll join your team happily any day. But so,
mate, we'll do some scouting. We'll see.
Yeah. So the early years regarding football, you said you were introduced to it at high school, your friends. So what were your earliest memories regarding playing it and watching games?
I think playing it, like I said, at primary school, it was sort of nothing really major. Like it was just at lunchtime on the field, kicking about. But obviously, when you go into secondary school, you started doing it in PE and stuff like that, and it started getting a little bit more serious. Obviously, joined the football team at school and stuff. But that was, again, just a laugh, playing the local schools around you, and it was just a bit of a laugh, like I said. But I joined a club. I don't know how old I was. I was about 14 or 15. I joined a local football club. It was one of my mates from school that introduced me to that. And you know, we just started playing the odd game every week. It was a bit of a laugh. I'd never done anything like that at that point. So, you know, training on a Tuesday, match on a Sunday, it was just a bit of a laugh with your mates. But yeah, I don't know. I think I quit football, like playing it like regularly every Sunday when I was about 16, 17. So I had a few years doing it, but I just didn't really enjoy it. I'd rather go to, you know, watch Villa. And obviously when, you know, your matches that you play clash with, you know, Villa, I'd rather go and watch them. And especially when I started doing Villa on tour and stuff, I think that kind of overtook actually playing football. So it was a short period of time where I actually played it. I enjoyed it, but I think I enjoy watching it more. You know, it's a bit of a strange one, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So for me, there was always, and for other people that I've talked to regarding football, there's always been one moment where it's hooked me and I thought, right, I love this sport. I've got a real passion for it now. I'm going to go forth and play more games or watch more games with my family. And it's a great way in doing so. I think my first game was Wigan Athletic, and it was in the Lambert era. And even though the game was poor, I remember the Villa faithful being really loud, passionate for their team. And that stuck with me. And that got me hooked to football. So for you, was there one specific moment in which hooked you to football?
That's a tough one. So like I said, my first game was in 2011, which was like the end of the Martin O'Neill era. So I sort of fully got into Villa when things started getting really bad. So it's not ideal. Yeah, literally, it was awful. So that was like McLeish, Lambert, and just horrendous times like that. So it's a bit of a strange one. I think obviously, like you said, the fans and stuff is fantastic, and that's what hits you. Like I was more interested in the fans being amazing and stuff like that, and the ground, Villa Park, and stuff like that, rather than the actual football. Because let's be honest, I was going to watch us against Southampton at home, and we'd lose to a Ricky Lambert penalty, and it just wasn't really enjoyable.
I was there for that game, and it was so bad. Yeah, so bad.
It was. That was pretty much every week. I felt like that, but it was just, you know, walking up to the ground with my dad, and then, you know, meeting your mates there and stuff like that. That is what hooked me. But I think, like I said, when we got relegated, because that season was just so dross and it was just horrendous, and it was just like wipe the slate clean. We'll go into the championship and hopefully we'll start winning more games. Which I know we came 13th in that first championship season, but I enjoyed it. I think I went to the majority of games. That was the season where I started going to more away games and stuff like that. So, you know, that was the time where I started going with my mates instead of my dad just driving me to the odd game at Villa Park. Like I started getting to the coach with my mates, you know, Owen and stuff that you see on the channel now. So just things like that, like going to games with your mates and actually winning games, which helped, and that sort of gripped me a little bit more. And it was from that point forward that, you know, I fully got hooked, and, you know, I just love it now.
Yeah. So from those times, did you ever visualize potentially pursuing a career within the football profession as you are now currently with your Villa on Tour channel?
No, not at all. I think I don't know. It came out of the blue, really. I think when was my first video? It was the start of the second season, so 2017 September, I think,
Yeah.
somewhere
I
around
believe
there.
it's like Barnsley
Um,
away, was it?
it was Barnsley away, yeah,
Yeah.
and it was a
Done my
good
research.
place
Done
to
my
start.
research.
Good lad. Yeah, it was a 3-0 win, that was. So no, that was a really good place to start. I don't know. It was a bit of a strange one. Like I didn't, when I started going Villa home and away, I didn't think, right, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel or a vlogging channel or anything like that. That just wasn't in my head. I just had an old camera, like a small camera. I've got one here, if you can see that. Just that's
Yeah.
what I use now. Just a small one of them. I thought I'd take it along just to not. I didn't take it because I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I did it for myself because I wanted to capture a goal or celebrations or something like that. And I did, and then I put it on YouTube, not expecting anything. Just wanted to show my mates, really, like, go and watch this video, lads. I made it at the game, etc. And then, that season was sort of slow for me. I did it for the majority of home games, a few away games. And it started growing, relatively well. Like I said, the season wasn't great because we came 13th or something like that. So, yeah, no, that was the season we lost to Fulham. I've got confused
Oh,
there.
okay.
That was the
Okay.
season we lost to Fulham.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we won the majority of games. We were like teetering on second place, and then we blew it against Fulham. So it wasn't ideal for the channel because obviously we didn't get into the Premier League. But I was like, right, the 18-19 season, which turned out to be the season we got promoted, I'm really going to make a go of this Villa on Tour thing, and try and grow my channel to as big as I can do. And I did. Like I said, we started winning most games under Dean Smith. It was a really enjoyable sort of period in Villa's history. So, and the 10-game run for the channel, it was just ridiculous. Like, it was just so enjoyable going to every single game. We won every single game. We were blitzing teams. It was just brilliant. And I think the content was just great. And it was just a really, really enjoyable period. And just to get promoted at the end of that was just great. And it was really, really enjoyable for the channel.
So you look at that win against Derby at the playoff final, and you look at your whole journey to get there, from you being brought up in the family that not very passionate within football, but encourage participation within activities such as football, to you then growing this channel, going with your dad, going with your mates to the football, and getting to Wembley essentially. Was there any points where you were potentially persuaded or wanted to support another team? I know it's a controversial question. I know that because the large number of Villa fans, they start supporting Villa due to their family. But were you that heavily influenced by your friends to support Villa?
Yeah, I think so. I don't really want to admit this, but when I was like, I don't know how, like, properly young, like 5 or 6, there was like Man United. I was interested in them.
Yeah.
We touched on it. You may have seen the picture of me in Man United pajamas or something when I was like 5 or 6. But yeah, people have got that image. I don't really want to see that circulating on Twitter or something. But no, I think, when your family's not massively into football, I think you are, as a child, sort of interested in the teams that win everything. Like, now I'm older, you look at it and think, well, that's not the way to go. You got to support your local team, and a team that is enjoyable to go and actually watch, that's just down the road, rather than a team up north that wins everything and you never go and see them and it's really boring and stuff. So yeah, looking back on it, it was a dodgy decision. I didn't support United. It was just something that they won everything at the time, so I was just interested in watching them. But yeah, like you said, my mates from primary school going into secondary school, a few of them were Villa, and I knew they went to a lot of the games. Like Owen, he was at my primary school. I knew he was big on Villa, and his whole family were. So we started talking about that. And yeah, it was like my dad took me to that first game against Wigan in 2011, and from that point, I was like, right, I'm going to fully support Villa. They're my team. They're my local team. And it sort of went from there. But yeah, it's only Villa now. It's only Villa.
Yeah. So for many, when they make that journey from their households to Villa Park, there's always certain monuments or certain places which they go to on the way to the ground. What were you surprised by? What were your first reactions to the crowds, the stadium that is Villa Park? Were you impressed by it? Because I know we talked briefly beforehand now about the fans and how influential they are. What were your predominant emotions during that time when you first made that visit to Villa Park?
It was incredible. I think I went to my first game. I did my 11 plus exam to get into high school.
Okay.
And it was actually on that day that my dad took me to my first game, and he sort of gave me a little box. I opened it up and there was a Villa ticket in there.
Ah.
I didn't really know what to expect because I'd never been to a football match before. I'd seen it on the telly and stuff, but it's just obviously not the same as being there. So I remember walking up to the ground and it was like, obviously I'd never been to Villa Park before, and I saw it and it is one of the best stadiums in the country, isn't it? It's properly traditional. It's just fantastic. The whole end is incredible. And I think I was quite lucky because the first game I went to, I sat in the upper hole. I think it must have been towards the left-hand side, like K6 or something. And I remember I was near the back, so everyone stood up. It was really exciting. And obviously I didn't know what to expect. I think who scored? I think it was Agbonlahor scored the first goal, and it was absolutely incredible goal. And it was at the other end of the pitch, so I couldn't really see anything. But it was just the noise. I can just remember the noise taking me by just surprise. It was just incredible.
Yes.
Like my ears were absolutely ringing. And that was just a goal against Wigan Athletic. And it was at that point where I was just absolutely hooked. I was like, wow, everyone here is so passionate. I want to be involved in this. And like you said, yeah, my dad walked me up to Villa Park, when I was younger was really exciting. But now it's sort of changed. We get the train with my mates and it's exciting. We go to the pub maybe beforehand. And, walking up to Villa Park and seeing the whole end, it will never, ever get old. And like you said, it's been absolutely ages since we've been. So just that first game back, just walking up to the whole end, it's just gonna feel like you're a kid again walking up to the whole end, and I absolutely can't wait for it. It's gonna be a good one, man. But I'm missing it, as we all are.
Yeah, of course. So let's talk about the creation of Villa on Tour from your emotions, your feelings for the club from these first few experiences. So what caused you to make this channel? Did you ever question the broadcasting of games, and was it that no one else was really capturing the heart and soul of Aston Villa Football Club, and you thought you were the guy to step up to the plate and capture that?
Yeah, to an extent. I think I started it, like I said, in September 2017, and there wasn't. Obviously, you look at it now, and there's so many Villa outlets, like whether it's writing things or on YouTube, on social media, etc. And it's really, really good now. I think there's a really good Villa community. It didn't cross my mind and think I'm gonna sort of fill the gap in the market that there is, or anything like that. But yeah, it was a bit of a strange one. Like I said earlier, I took a camera to a game. It was my sister's old camera or something like that. So I just took that to a game, captured a few things. I had really old editing software on my laptop. So I thought, plug it into there, make a sort of short 2 or 3 minute video. Didn't put my face on it or anything like that. It was literally just content from the game. So I did that. And yeah, it just, like I said, it kind of grew from there. But there wasn't anything in my mind that, when I started it, there wasn't anything in my mind that was like, I'm going to create a channel from this. I'm going to fully fill a gap in the market. There's no Villa vlogger sort of thing. I'm going to do that. That wasn't in my mind. But, maybe a year had passed and I thought, right, I can really make a fist of this. I got a few thousand subscribers, which was just absolutely mental at the time. And I just thought I'd take it from there. No one else is really doing it. I thought, it's kind of different how I do it because me and my mates have a laugh, and it's sort of different to, like, you look at it now, there's so many vlogging channels. And I think ours works well is because it's a core group of mates that we have a laugh. People get to know the sort of characters that we have. So that's really exciting, and people seem to enjoy it. So yeah, like I said, at the start, there wasn't anything like, I'm going to start a channel. It was literally, the channel at the start was called Max Stokes. Like, it was just for me. And just a few months in, I was like, call it Villa on Tour. That's what we do. We go on tour, go to all the away games, and just change the name. So that's an interesting bit.
So during that first visit to the Barnsley away, which was your first video that you created, were you nervous at all? Because there are still, bear in mind that football content and fan media has developed so much, as you said, over the past few years. There are still fans who despise the fact that people are creating content at games and have a dislike to vlogging. So were you nervous at all attending those first few games with your camera and capturing content for yourself?
A little bit. I think at the time, even my mates didn't know what I was doing. Like, they didn't know that I had brought a compact camera or whatever. They had no idea what I was doing. So even now, like, I'm really discreet with what I do. I don't wave it in the air or anything. Like, it's literally just, by my chest or anything like that. I don't look through the camera when I'm doing it. It's literally just there. So yeah, I was a little bit nervous, but I think what makes me nervous, even still to this day, is like filming myself. I try not to do it too much. Filming my actual self at the game, but when you like film the pitch or the fans, it's easier to do. So like I said earlier, I never used to film myself like for ages. It always used to be the fans or, you know, reactions on the pitch or something like that. So yeah, I was nervous. I still get nervous to this day. Like I still get nervous when you have 3,000, you know, core Villa fans in an away end, and there's me with a camera that I know, and I don't blame the fact that if you don't like vlogging, that's absolutely fine. I try to keep it as discreet as possible. I know a lot of people don't like it. Absolutely fine. Don't watch the content. It doesn't bother me. I get a few things in real life, people coming up to me and saying things about vlogging or whatever, but I think the majority of people that, you know, come up to me are being really, really nice and saying how much they support the channel and like the channel. So that really means a lot. And that is why I continue to, you know, make content for people. But yeah, I was nervous. I still get nervous to this day, but I've got used to it at this point.
So what do you think is the best piece of content that you have created for the Villa on Tour channel?
Tough one. I think there's a few videos that stand out for me, but I'd probably have to say, I think there's a few. I think the main ones that I'd pick are out of the 10-game winning run and that sort of period at the end of the season.
Definitely.
So I think Sheffield Wednesday away is up there.
Yeah.
Because obviously we scored the last minute winner and we were all going mental, and then we scored again, and it was just, if you watch that video, like, just I look back at it and look at myself and think, what are you doing, man? Like, it's just an absolute mess. But I think if I had to pick one, it'll be West Brom in the playoffs, because it was just, I can't explain. If you were there, like, you'd know, but you can't explain how horrendous it was, because it was a really hot summer's night. It was, the stress levels were through the roof. And the game, it wasn't just a 90-minute game. Like, West Brom had took the lead and then they were on top of us, and it was so scary. But, and then it went to extra time, and the extra time, I've never been to a game where there had been extra time before. So just watching 2 hours of football, and it was just so stressful. The stakes are so high, and it being a West Midlands derby as well, it was horrendous. And then penalty shootouts came around. Oh, it's just horrendous, man. But we got through it. People were crying. I was crying. Owen was crying. Smoke bombs going off. El Mohammadi standing on the hoardings. It was just, Legend. It was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And just it was kind of hard to make the best content I could when people were crying around me. I was so emotional myself. Everyone was. And then my camera ran out of charge, and it was so stressful. But yeah, I think that's probably the best piece of content I've had. And I still watch those sort of videos to this day, just to put a smile on my face, because those times were the best.
Because I think before fan media, no one really appreciated the foreign Villa allegiance as well, because I think what your videos do is you connect everyone around the globe, because you talk about that specific moment there, West Brom, second leg, the semi-final. I know my reaction, I was with my dad, I was with my two friends who were in the lounge, and I remember my mum and dad my mum and my sister were asleep upstairs. So when full time came, I went mad silently. It was the weirdest thing ever, but it was an emphatic win. I know many other Villa fans around the world will be feeling the same thing. So do you ever interact with people from other countries? Because now we have some famous faces within the fan media scene, like Mark Jarobi from America. We have all these different supporters group around the world. So do you ever plan to in the future link up with them once the coronavirus period's over? What are your thoughts around the Villa allegiance abroad?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Like you said, Villa, I don't think I appreciated this until recently, when I was like fully on social media and things like that. You don't appreciate how big Villa are as a club.
Oh yeah.
We've got, you go anywhere in the world, you will find a Villa fan. Like, if you go on holiday somewhere, someone will probably be in a Villa shirt. And like you touched on there, Mark Jarobi from America, I spoke to him a few times. He was meant to be coming over, wasn't he? And we were going to go for a beer and stuff. So even, I think if you look at my comment section, there's people from all over the place, like Australia, America. It really does blow my mind. Like, I absolutely love it. And, you know, the fact that I can, with my content, sort of connect everyone together to an extent, it's absolutely fantastic. And I think I was at the Villa View event where they got lots of people into Villa Park and stuff. I was at there and got recognised by a few people from Australia, and we had a chat there. And it just sort of blew my mind that people from Australia were talking to me about my channel, and they've watched my videos over there. Like, that was absolutely mental. So you put this content out and you sort of think, you know, people from Birmingham will see this, or, you know, the surrounding areas and stuff, but you don't appreciate that people all over the world will see your content. And I absolutely love that. And that's why I keep doing it, because obviously you go to the games and you come back and you watch my videos, like, that's great. But people that don't go to the games and literally can't get to the games, I just love being able to put content out that they can enjoy and sort of feel that, you know, they're there. That's why I do it.
So we talked about on a broad scale how you connect Villa fans around the world, but most importantly to yourself, you talk about going to games with your friends. So since the creation of Villa on Tour and over the past few years as it's developed, do you think your friendship with the likes of Jamie, Owen, etc., everyone who attends the games with you, do you think your friendship with them has got better? It's grown stronger?
Yeah, I think so. It's a bit of a strange one that I think it has. I think because they might have said when I started Villa on tour, they could have said, "Oh, why are you doing that? Why are you taking a camera to the ground? You shouldn't be doing that, etc." But they got on
Yeah.
board with it like really quickly, and I like that. They were sort of really supportive of it, and they still are, which I love. They sort of they're engrossed in it, and I like that. But yeah, like I said, they've got their own sort of characters. And Jamie's the funny one. He gets up to a bit of mischief. Owen's funny as well. So
Yeah.
it all links together. And I think, that's why it works so well. So I think, yeah, they're really supportive of it, which I like. And yeah, it's definitely grown stronger over a period of time as well. Like it's gone on for so long now for on tour. So yeah, it's great. And they really enjoy it as much as I do. And, over the years, sort of new people have come into our friendship group through Villa on Tour, like Simon, who's come in. I met him for the first time in Leipzig, for example.
Wow.
And, he's sort of come into our friendship group and, became one of us to an extent. So, yeah, that's really good. So Villa on Tour has allowed me to meet new people, make new friends. And, yeah, it's fantastic.
And of course, in a way as well, your friends have grown. Your Simons, your Jamies, your Owens, they've all grown some sort of social media presence as well on the back of Villa on Tour, on Twitter and Instagram. And I remember one of my favourite moments regarding the people affiliated with yourselves at Villa on Tour. I think it was Crew Away, where Jamie, yeah, you know the drill. It was Jamie. I think the ball went out and he got it around, and there's some. I was watching it. I think I was camping. I was camping and I watched it on a stream that was perfectly legal. And I saw, I saw Jamie, and yeah, do you want to describe that moment, please? Because I don't think I can myself.
Okay, right. If people haven't seen this, to be fair, like on Twitter, sometimes just out of the blue, a football account will just get that video and just put it out there, and it get like 5,000 likes. But okay, basically what happened was, I think we were like 5-1 up at the time. We were behind the goal, and the ball flies into like the concourse sort of thing. So Jamie hops down and gets the ball.
Yeah.
And I just think, he's going to throw it back or whatever. So I start filming him because it's just funny. He can be a bit clumsy at times. Like I don't think sometimes he realizes what he's doing and the effects it will have. So I'm not like behind what he did, but he just booted the ball. Like he just booted the ball back to the goalkeeper, and then he came back. But we didn't realize that he was on TV at the time. The TV people had fully zoomed into him, and then he got back and he did a few, poor actions, which it wasn't great. But we got back in the car after the game and had loads of messages saying, "You're on TV, you're on TV." So yeah, to us it was funny. I can see why people don't like that, and if you don't sort of know us, I can see why you'd think, "Oh, what a load of idiots." But we don't really care. We have a laugh at the football, and that's what it's all about. But yeah, that was up there with one of the funniest moments.
So you talk about it was funny indeed, and you talk about the criticism though, and you just clearly explain that you do not care now. But for the first pieces of criticism that you may have received online, how did you react to that? Because I know for myself, when I was working for the Villa View Guard industry, etc., I did see sometimes some criticism of the channel and the people that run it. And it does affect you. It really does. And you can have 100 positive comments and the one comment that displays hate towards for example, it was Villa on Tour, yourself and your friends. And that one hate comment really hurts you compared to the 100 positive comments. So how did you react to that in the first instance that you received criticism for your channel?
Yeah, like you said there, that is 100% true. Like you go into my comment section, say you've got 200 comments that are all absolutely positive, and then you've got one that just says, "Oh, you're an idiot, your content's rubbish." Obviously, sometimes, the majority of the time, the comments are much worse than that, but that does get you down, and it's hard to sort of get over that, because it's just a human reaction to focus on the negative comments towards you. So it is annoying, and I think obviously like now I see a negative comment and it still gets to me, but like I kind of, there's nothing you can do, you just got to keep on making content. But like back in the day at the start, it does get to you because you're a small channel, you've got a small audience, and that one hate comment literally can just shut you down and make you think, right, I can't be bothered to do this anymore. People don't enjoy it, why would I continue doing it? But once you get to a point where you yourself are enjoying making that content, and that's definitely the main thing, if you're enjoying making that content, don't care about what people think. If it's not harming anyone else, just continue doing it if you enjoy it, 100%. But the hate comments, they do get to you, but like like now it doesn't bother me. I think a lot of people would have seen my issues in the past with Birmingham City community and their sort of fans. I think back in the day I was a little bit vocal on Twitter, and looking back on it, you don't bother. Like don't even bother. They're not worth your time. But you know, I've had a laugh with them in the past. You know, maybe the scarf being thrown on my neck on the train. That's all fun and games. But I think it's definitely just a social media thing. Like if you were there on the train when I had that scarf thrown on me, like they were laughing, I was laughing. Obviously it wasn't ideal, but you know, we were just having a joke and stuff. But then you put it on social media and then you get death threats and stuff. Like there's just no point. I think there's definitely an element of keyboard warriors and stuff. Like, would you say that to my face in real life? Probably not. It's definitely just a social media thing. Like Twitter can be fantastic, but it can be pretty bad in terms of people giving you stick and stuff. But at this point, you just got to get over it. You just got to ride the wave and things like that. But I'm absolutely fine with it now. Like it just dishing out the abuse. I don't really mind. You just got to kind of work with it.
Has it ever gone to a certain extent in which you felt uncomfortable in matches?
Yeah, I think so. Like a couple of times, I can't remember when it was, like last season, I was just, you know, a standard clip filming kickoff, etc. Someone behind me, like 5 rows, just said, focus on the game or put the camera down or something along those lines. And that made me really, really self-conscious for like the whole of the second half. And I was just focusing on, am I being discreet? Like, can he see me, etc. And that gets to me. And I think you get looks as well. Like I can notice when people don't like what I'm doing, even if they don't say anything to my face. So I like I said earlier, I try and keep so discreet and just don't put myself out there too much, like when I'm at a game. But yeah, I still get self-conscious now all the time. But I just know that there's an audience out there that really enjoy my content and are waiting for a video. So I just put that behind me and just focus on the people that enjoy my content, so I can produce for them.
Do you think that in the next few years, more people will accept fan media for what it is, and the up-and-coming talents such as yourself and everyone else that's associated with it? Do you think more people accept it and people will become less ignorant towards fan media channels?
Yeah, I think so. I think you look over the last 2 or 3 years, it has just grown absolutely massively. And I think especially now, people have kind of got used to it and they know what it's about, even if they don't sort of watch it themselves or read it themselves. So I think even if they don't watch it, they know of it. So they're not going to, you know, like you said, be ignorant towards it. They're just going to accept it. Like I said earlier, you don't have to watch what someone produces. Just, you know, let them crack on. It doesn't directly affect you. And, you know, the stuff I do, it doesn't directly affect anyone else. It's not like I'm running up to someone and shoving a camera in their face, like, and stuff like that. And if I was, I would fully accept people giving me stick, because that's just not on. I never put anyone on camera that doesn't want to be. Normally they come up to me and say, can I be in the vid? And I'm like, yeah, of course you can. Give a score prediction, etc.
Yeah.
So stuff like that's fantastic. But, you know, like I said, people have got used to, you know, what I do necessarily. They don't have to watch me to know who I am and what I do and stuff. So it's fine. I think, like you said, over the coming years, people will accept it. They'll know a little bit more about it, even if they're not involved with it themselves. So yeah, like you said, in the coming years, people will accept it, and I think it will be fine.
Because it is a shame, isn't it? Because we get people such as yourself who are so positive about social media and present great, very good content, as well as many others. But we get that small minority who are unfortunately publicised. So what do you think the future is for the social media platforms themselves in order to create a better environment for everyone?
That's a tough one. I think if we knew the answer to that question, we wouldn't have, you know, the issues that we do on social media.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a fair point.
But I think it's just people online that, you know, don't show their face and they don't have their name in their bio, for example. That
It's
decide
like a
to dish out
footballer
abuse
in
and
the
you see them in real life. And exactly, you know the drill. You see someone online with a footballer in their picture and they're called, like, I don't know, you know, the classic football Twitter names, and it's just stuff like that.
Yeah.
They feel like because you can't see their face and you don't know their name, you don't know what they look like, they can just dish out abuse and it won't affect anyone. But I don't know, it's a tough one. I think Tyron Mings was saying, someone like that was saying, like, you shouldn't be allowed on Twitter without proof of ID or something along those lines. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, it's a tough one. I don't think it's a tough one. I don't know how you do that, because if everyone, it's this privacy thing as well. Like, it's just so tough. But I think over time, I don't know, people will always be nasty online, but over time, hopefully, it will sort of fade out with the rise of football media, especially.
So we talked about the progression of Villa Tour itself. So looking at the present here today, do you think that you can grow audience so big that you can make a living off this? Or do you think that it will be a year or two until you have to stop the channel and potentially get a job elsewhere?
Well, I finished my A levels last year in the summer of 2019, and I was looking at getting a job straight after that. But my parents sort of sat me down and said, "Villa on Tour is going so well. Villa have just been promoted into the Premier League. There's more opportunities for content. So have a gap year, have a year off, focus on Villa on Tour, make the most of it you can." So I did, and I just got a job now. I think I start in a couple of weeks, so that'll be my first job since leaving my A levels last year. Which is I work for Severn Trent, like an apprenticeship program that's like 18 months long,
Cool.
making content for them sort of thing. So it does link in with Villa on Tour. Like I will make promotional videos for Severn Trent, etc. But I will still continue with Villa on Tour. I think like I don't know until I'm in that job how well and how much I can take Villa on Tour further still. But I'll still go to, obviously we won't be going to games, but you know, when we are allowed back into stadiums and stuff, I will still be going to games. Like, I think it's a Monday to Friday thing. So I'll still be able to go to games, cover games, react to games, things like that. So I think, you know, at the end of the day, I'm still enjoying it. So I will still continue to do it. And when I stop enjoying it, that is when I will stop doing it. But I'm still enjoying it 100%. I enjoy getting the feedback. I enjoy uploading videos. I enjoy creating content. So that is why I'm going to continue this. And there's no plans just yet to stop it or anything like that.
I think that's great because it's clear to see, like we've said before in this interview, that your passion for the club is still prevalent and you involve your friends, you involve your sister, everyone, and you can see how much you do enjoy it. So for you, for the past year, you talked about that your parents wanted you to take a gap year off because Villa on Tour was doing so well. So let's talk about the going into the different avenues and going into the world of merchandise. How important was it for you to extend to that in order to create some sort of money, revenue, profit from Villa on Tour for you to potentially invest that into the content or make the channel better or potentially use that money elsewhere?
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe sometimes when you see a content creator bring out merchandise, you think, well, someone might think, oh, they're just doing it for the money. They just want to make as much money as possible to feed their ego or something like that. But I think before, you know, I released, you know, hoodies, t-shirts, phone cases, the money from the channel was just about covering away games. It was covering the coach travel, the tickets, you know, etc., stuff like that. So that was doing well. But I sort of brought out the merchandise and stuff to, like you said, make the channel better, bring in a new light to make it look better, a new camera, new tripod, new microphone, stuff like that, just to take the channel to the next level. So I think that's why, you know, I brought out merchandise. It's not to fuel my ego or to make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just to make the channel as good as it can be, take it as far as I can do with the equipment and stuff like that. So at the moment, it's still covering games and, you know, travel and stuff like that. And I think as long as it does that's fantastic, and it really, really does help me out.
You created a channel to create content at Aston Villa games, and now you've grown and grown and grown it into a massive, I mean, you could potentially call it an organisation due to the fact that you've gone into the avenues such as merchandise and you're extending it so much. So for the next up and coming vloggers, which is what you started doing on your channel, what would you say to them? What would you encourage them to do in order to create an audience and a channel such as yours, which is so popular these days?
I think the main thing is you have to enjoy it. I think that's the main thing. I don't think you should just do it because you want to be like this person who already does vlogging. You want to be like that person. You have to actually enjoy making content.
Yeah.
And I think if you do, then fantastic. You've got to stay determined. And you know, it took me over a year to hit 1,000 subscribers or something like that. And that was with Villa, you know, winning games and things. So it may start off slow, and don't expect to get 10, 20,000 subscribers just off the bat like that. It's always going to start slow. But once you start getting that core audience that start enjoying your stuff, then, you know, it will grow better and better. Obviously, it helps Villa winning games as well, which obviously in the last year we haven't won a lot of. But I don't know, it's a tough one. As long as you make your content unique as well. I think the main things are you've got to stay determined in terms of pushing out the content regularly, but it's got to be unique as well, because like we said earlier, there's so many fan channels now that you've got to sort of be unique about what you do in order to be as successful as, you know, whatever. So I think that's why, I don't want to sound arrogant or something, but that's why I think we've done okay, because we're sort of unique. Because you look at vloggers online and stuff, and it's sort of one person, they go to a game, it's just them. But I think why we do well is because there's a group of us. We've all got characters, and it's sort of like it's difficult. It's a difficult one to explain, but we've all got characters, and we're like a group as well, rather than just one individual vlogger. And you might get bored of just watching one. But I think you've got to be unique in terms of the content. that you do, and you've got to enjoy it at the end of the day, because like I said earlier, if you stop enjoying it, there's no point in doing it. So stay determined, make unique content, make regular content as well that people will want to enjoy. And yeah, just make sure you enjoy yourself while doing it.
Max, thank you very much for joining me today. And if you ever need a player for the Villa View rematch, I'm your man, okay? I am your man.
I'll call you, mate. I'll call you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that's the end of today's episode with Max Stokes. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. Max, I really appreciate you coming on. I've really enjoyed this episode, to be fair. It's been really good.
Nice one, mate. Keep up the hard work. Keep on watching. I'll keep on watching your stuff. Nice one, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. And most importantly, up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
What I keep being too caught up